Week 2's kind of already gotten started with the Green Bay Packers getting a win over the Washington Commanders. A win that, need I say, woke everybody in the NFC North up. A win that woke up everybody in the NFC. And this win on Thursday night was probably the biggest win in a Thursday night football game. It showed the NFL, okay, we're here. But that's besides the point because that game already happened. We're going to break down the games that will happen. The games that will happen Sunday, 1 o'clock games. We got a couple good ones. We got a couple bad ones. We're going to break down the 4 o'clock games. There's only one real game to watch at 4 o'clock. That is going to be the rematch of the Super Bowl. Then we have some primetime games Sunday night, nice and solid. Monday night, I'm really excited for Monday night, but sorry for the clapping, sorry for the noise. I'm trying to get used to all this sound because I'm a yeller. But we're going to try to tone it down for y'all. We're going to tone it down. Bring it down a notch. So let's break into these week 1 games. Starting off, the Cincinnati Bengals. Jeez, the Cincinnati Bengals. What was that last week? You guys won, but what was that? We saw Joe Burrow playing all these minutes in the preseason. We saw Joe Burrow getting reps with backups. We thought that the offense would come out slinging. I mean, to say that wasn't it. I mean, Joe Burrow had 113 yards. 113 yards of offense. I mean, Joe Burrow had 113 yards of offense. 113 yards. Joe Burrow had 113 yards. Now, I'm going to try to calm down. It's week 1. Players are still getting into the use of things. But Cincinnati, let me calm down. You guys won. You guys did what you guys were supposed to do. You guys got the win. Last year, you guys were losing to New England. So this year, I have to give you credit. You guys won a divisional game. There you have it. But this week is week 2. We're going to need to see a little pickup. I'm going to need to see Jamar Chase get involved. T. Higgins get involved. Hey. I saw you guys trying to run the ball. That's not y'all style. You guys have a particular style. Now, can you guys play another style? Sure, but that's not y'all style. Y'all are a very particular team, especially when you guys went out and paid 1, 2, 3 particular guys. So, Cincinnati, you guys are on my radar. We're going to need to see you guys pick it up a notch. Now, on the other side, Cincinnati, you guys are going against a team that you guys can try a couple things. Especially a team that's playing a guy offensively and defensively. Now, Jacksonville, shout out to winning. Shout out to Tank Bigsby. I'm an Eagles fan. Thank you for the trade. But when it came to Jacksonville and me reading what they did last week, you guys were able to get the running game going with Etienne. That is good. Because last year, everybody was confused as to what is going on with this offense. You guys were kind of able to keep Trevor, but 188 yards, I believe. He wasn't able to get to his guys that we were expecting. But you guys still had a receiving leader in Strange. I believe that was your tight end. So he's hitting your safety blanket. But to say we need a little bit more from Trevor Lawrence, a little bit more from the Jacksonville Jaguars, yes, you guys got the win too. Important, yes. But that was against the Panthers. A lot of teams are going to beat up on the Panthers, so you guys didn't show anything last week. This week, we get to see something. This week, you guys will be tested offensively and defensively. Now, Travis Hunter. Everybody had expectations on Travis Hunter and how Travis Hunter was going to come out and play in the NFL. He needed to play defense first. He needed to play offense first. Well, Travis has come out understanding that, or the Jacksonville Jaguars have come out understanding that Travis Hunter needs to play offense first. They're going to work him in with the offense, and he's going to get some snaps on defense. Now, football heads have been talking, saying he needs to understand defense and he can build that chemistry as the season goes. But I like Jacksonville's plan. They're not putting him out in shallow waters early. They're going to walk him into the deep end, and sooner or later we'll see if he can play. And for games like these, that's the smartest thing to do. Because to throw Travis Hunter out there, Joe Burrow is going to be looking for him. T. Higgins will be looking for him. Jamar Chase will be looking for him. And that's not what you need your second week in the league, to be honest. I mean, a couple players have already had their welcome to the NFL moment, but I think it's smarter to give Travis Hunter that little dose of defense, watching him play and getting him accustomed to how he has to play defensively. I'm a fan. I want to see Travis do well. I would love to see a little tape on Travis and Jamar. I would love to see it because Joe's going to put it up there. I think the one thing everybody needs to understand, if Travis Hunter plays some defense, Joe Burrow will be looking for him. We are going to test this guy who wants to play both sides of the ball, and we're going to see this engine, this pace. Can you keep up with the best of the best? The one percenters, as we like to call them on here. But going back into this game, I mean, I'm going to say I have Jacksonville losing, but I would love to see a tough matchup. I would love to see Travis Etienne go for another 100. I would love to see Trevor Lawrence give the Bengals defense a little pushback. Now, Joe Flacco gave them a little pushback last week. Joe Flacco did kind of have a better game than Joe Burrow. I'm not going to take it too far. Joe Flacco was throwing interceptions, but he was slinging the rock a little bit better. I mean, the offense looked a little bit more fluid than what we expected to see from the Cincinnati Bengals. But I have Cincinnati coming out this week and kind of showing, hey, we're here. We can play. That was week one. Now we're going to start to get the ball rolling. So Cincinnati, y'all have a big week. Jacksonville has a big week. Let's see how it plays out. On to another 1 o'clock game. That last one was a game of 1-0 teams. This will be a game of 0-1 teams. We have the Chicago Bears playing the Detroit Lions. Now, both of these teams took a loss last week, but the losses were kind of different. Let me know what type of loss you guys would want. Would you guys want to lose like the Chicago Bears, a fourth quarter comeback where you let up 21 points? Or would you like to lose like the Detroit Lions? The game was over from the get-go. Coin toss. Micah's introduction. The game was over. I wouldn't want to lose either way, but I guess give me the Bears game because at least there's something to work off of. But going and looking into this game, I mean, there's storylines everywhere. Ben Johnson goes back home to Detroit. The Detroit OC has to look at the guy did not. I repeat, the Detroit OC has to look at the guy he did not live up to week one. Now, the Bears were at least able to move the ball. Detroit, what was that? Well, everybody got healthy. You got Hutch back. You got your DBs back. And the Packers got one player. Like, whoa, that was bad. That was bad. I got to calm down. That was bad. That was bad. But Detroit, you guys got Campbell. Campbell's going to hopefully get you guys right. Jared Goff, pick it up. Please don't let it be seen that it's the coordinators helping you and not your talent actually helping the team. That was weird. That was a weird week one. But you guys got the week one jitters. You guys get that pass week one. There's not many more passes coming for the Detroit Lions, to be honest. Now, looking into this game, the one place that I want to see is which offense is going to look better. Is it the offense that was the number one ranked offense last year with the top OC? Or is it the offense that was ranked bottom third with the top OC from last year? Is that offense going to be better than the number one offense last year? I mean, if we're going back to last week, the Bears looked a lot better than the Detroit Lions. So coming into this week, I think that's one of the keys we have to look for. Especially knowing the health that Detroit has now. You guys got healthy on defense. There's no excuse for Detroit. You guys got the excuse last week with week 1. There's no excuse week 2. Now, can the Lions get back to form to what they did last year, offensively and defensively? Because let's be clear, yes, they were injured in the playoffs, but during the season, the Lions were putting ass whoopings on everybody. They were having so much fun. They were running trick plays, fall to the ground, so I can throw a touchdown pass. Now, the Lions' offense was fluid last year, and it kind of held the whole team together as they went through those injuries, but now we need to see a little bit more complementary football. Now that the defense is healthy, we need to see them be able to lean on that defense as the offense learns to get into flow. I understand it's a new OC, and he's going to have to learn the flow of the offense, but offensively and defensively last week, nobody showed up, especially both coordinators. So now coming into this game, there are points of emphasis for both teams. I believe the Detroit Lions, from coordinators to players to everybody down the line, needs to show up, especially after an ass whooping like that. Number 1 seed last year, by the way. But what I'm going to get to with the Detroit Lions is Jared Goff needs to show out. Yes, I talked about the offense. Yes, I talked about losing Ben Johnson. But Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl without Ben Johnson. Jared Goff's been the number 1 seed. Jared Goff has led offenses to top-tier evolutions without Ben Johnson. With McVay, who I know is another genius, but even then, McVay's offense now is not the offense he ran with Jared Goff, and Jared Goff ran that offense perfectly to the Super Bowl. So, looking at what Goff can actually do, we're going to have to see it very early. Hey, are you the guy, or is Detroit going to need to look at somebody else? I mean, coming into the season, Jared Goff did not give us the start we wanted. But as the weeks go, I expect Jared Goff to warm up. As the weeks go, I expect Jared Goff to give us performances maybe not like last year. Maybe he won't have the 18 out of 18 coordinator quarterback running the offense perfectly. Maybe that's not what we're going to be at. But you have to be able to lead this offense. Now, going over to the Bears. You guys love to find the stupidest ways to lose. The stupidest ways to lose. I get it. You know, the kid McCarthy didn't throw any touchdowns, and then all of a sudden he's throwing 3. I get it. You guys had a pick 6. You guys had the game closed. It doesn't make sense that you guys are even 0-1 right now. And looking at what happened last year with Washington, that started a whole debacle. You guys need to leave that game in the past. That game for the Chicago Bears needs to be left in the past. Caleb, the defense, Ben Johnson, move on. This is not last season. Jalen Johnson will be coming back, it looks like. The offense was running smooth at a time, it looked like. Now, I'm going to get to Caleb Williams because I feel like this is where we have to start, even though I've kind of done a little talking. Caleb, somebody get this to Caleb Williams, please. Somebody get this to Caleb Williams. Caleb, you started off the game smooth, brother. You started off the game smooth. But even the announcers, quarterback Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer, is pointing out you're not reading the whole field, man. There are matchups that you just have to see, and you have to know I'm going to attack it. Caleb, when it came time and you guys were losing and you needed a drive, did you not give them the drive? Was the ball placement not perfect? Were you not just clicking? You had that in the first quarter, and you chose not to take it. Now we need to see a little bit more of that gunslinger. We saw you still completing passes. I believe Caleb Williams started 10 for 10, 11 for 11. He started off the game nice. But to watch, he was in conservative mode. I understand being in conservative mode. But you guys got into a place where you guys were so conservative, by the end of the game, you guys had to be the aggressors. You guys had to be aggressive into a game that you guys never needed to be in that position. Now, I've given a lot of teams the pillow of it was week 1. You guys can fall back on that and grow. I'm sorry. The Chicago Bears are not in the same position. You guys cannot have the debacle you had last season, losing that game to Washington, and then losing 10 straight with a top defense at that. Defense was top tier in the league, and you guys lost 10 straight. You guys cannot have that happen today. Today, this season, whatever. You guys cannot have that happen this season. Now, everybody's going to have to put their big boy pants on, from coach to players to coordinators to the GM needs to see something's not right here. I got to get something done. Because this team had potential last year to make the playoffs until they went on a horrible streak. Now, this is going to be a battle. Don't think that because Detroit laid down last week to Green Bay that they're going to do the same for you guys. You guys need to show up. And to be honest, I'd be more mad than Detroit because at least they lost the game when the game started. You guys lost the game at the very end, celebrating like the game's over, and all of a sudden, man, that game's giving me flashbacks of Buddy out here taunting in the... Chicago, you guys need to show up this week. I mean, who do you guys think is going to win between the battle of the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions? I have no idea. I'm excited. I want to see it. There's plenty to see. But to ask me who's going to win, I want the Bears to win because I think Detroit needs this. But to say that I think the Bears are going to win, the Lions have the most talent. If they show up, they should win. The Bears have the best scheming, I think, between the two, looking just 1 week into the season, just by giving Ben Johnson the respect that he's due. But you can't have that type of collapse. There's something wrong with the team, the coaching, the everything when you have that type of collapse, especially what happened last year. So the Bears have to tighten up. The Lions have to... What do the Lions have to do? Because defensively, to have all your weapons back... Hutch, I'm giving you a break. But this week you got the Bears O-line, not considered one of the top O-lines. I need to see Hutch this week. Stopping the run, I like you guys stopping the run. Stopping the pass, well, you guys put Jordan Love in the MVP conversation. And then Washington went out and did the same thing. I don't know if that's to grade you guys on how bad you guys are, or if that's just Jordan Love. But we're going to see this week. I'm excited to find out. So, on to the next game. We are going to break down the New York Jets going against the Buffalo Bills. Whoo! Scratch my throat on that one a little bit because I don't know what side I'm going to choose. I feel like if I choose wrong, it's going to be bad, but the Jets really showed they're coming into this season different than last season. The Bills clearly showed we're the same team from last season that went to the AFC Championship game, and we're focused more than we were last season. So, I think this entitles a possible dark horse game of the week. I'm going to give the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets the dark horse game of the week simply because Justin Fields played great last week in a loss. That defense that is supposed to be a top defense of the New York Jets lost to Aaron Rodgers. There's fire there. Now, Buffalo, we don't need to add any fire to Buffalo. Buffalo is focused. Buffalo's so focused. They were down last week in a game going against Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, who all wilded out and said, all right, let's turn it up now. To look at what the Bills are on, Bills are flaming hot. After one game into the season, we know that they're ready for the playoffs. We expect them to be ready for the playoffs. Now, The Jets looked good in a loss. But in a loss, we need to see more. I mean, it was okay that they lost. It was week 1. You guys are building. But now we need to see a little bit consistency with the New York Jets. Now, I say consistency because that was a great game and you lost. Most games you score 30, your defense should be able to hold up the opposing offense. They weren't able to hold up an opposing offense with the quarterback that they had last year. Now, I don't know if anybody at the Jets took that personal, but you should have. I get it. Boswell hit a 60-yarder to win the game. I get it. You guys still kind of showed out. And it's week 1. But this week, you guys have a real test. This week, this isn't 40-year-old man Rodgers. This week is the reigning, defending, undisputed MVP. The football god spoke last week. Josh Allen deserved the MVP. I don't want to hear it anymore. But looking at what the Jets can actually bring to the table, I expect the Jets to run the ball. I expect the Jets to be able to pass this connection of Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. I loved it. I loved it watching him throw that ball in the corner. That's my guy. I expect him to be there. That's a little bit of that connection that we want to see. Now, defensively, for the Buffalo Bills, Justin Fields is a step down from Lamar Jackson, but he's not that much of a step. I mean, athletically, he's not that much slower than Lamar. He's a quarterback who can run. I don't know if we've seen Justin Fields' full ability as a runner yet, but Buffalo, it's a good test for you guys to know. I mean, we got to keep the same game plan. We're going to go against another runner, another top-tier runner. I mean, the Bills got some work to do. And after last week, you guys should be amped. This rag is fucking tight. And after last week, you guys should be amped, coming off a great fourth quarter. Now, I did hear Ed Oliver is ruled out. Eddie, yo, get your ass on the field, bro. You put together an all-pro performance week 1. Don't get off the list because of some injury. I don't know what the injury is, but we're going to have the conversation of hurt players and injured players soon. But back to the Bills defense, led by next week Matt Milano, led by Bernard, we're going to go with Russo on the D-line. No disrespect. You guys have another task ahead of you with Justin Fields. This task with Justin Fields is not a simple task because this offense looks like the offense last week. They had a great runner, they had a great receiver, and they had a quarterback that you are going to have to challenge. So defensively, for the Bills, defensively, it's great to be tested like this early. It's great to get those juices flowing, that energy flowing. I loved what I saw last week from you guys. And coming to the Jets, you guys got the MVP. You guys have the MVP. How do you deal with the MVP? I don't know. Josh Allen looks unstoppable sometimes. He just does. There's not a receiver that you're going to go, hey, double Kincaid and force all the other. It doesn't matter with him. Doesn't matter. Keon Coleman had over 100 yards, but if he doesn't catch that fourth down, nobody goes over 100 yards. Everybody's eating 8 targets, still hitting Kincaid for a touchdown. There's no weakness to Josh Allen. Now, what the Jets can do, and what I think the Jets have been doing has been to draft defensive players to play the likes of Josh Allen. And for the Jets defense, last week it was old man, 40-year-old Mr. Rodgers. This week it's the reigning, defending MVP of the league. I expect them to show up. Don't get me wrong. I expect them to show up. But I expect Josh Allen to meet every obstacle that comes in his way. Especially when he's waiting for that match versus Pat. And I don't mean in the regular season. I mean, in the post, Josh Allen gives me the feel, yeah. I need to hurry up and get to the playoffs. Can it be January already? I need to play this guy so I can beat him and I can finally get some sleep. That's the feel that Josh Allen gives me. Josh Allen gives me the feel of some guy who's forcing himself to. So that's the breakdown of what I think both teams need to be looking at. Now, when we break down this game, I expect Josh Allen to win. I expect Josh Allen to hold his team accountable offensively and defensively. Whether they're down in the fourth, whether they're up in the fourth, they have all the tools that they need to win the game. Now, can the Jets make it competitive? I expect them to. Can Coach Glenn actually coach a team to beat a team that is possibly a Super Bowl contender? I like that question because I like how they played Pittsburgh last week. Pittsburgh is a playoff team that we know is always going to give themselves a chance. We didn't know what to expect from the Jets last season or coming into this season. So coming in, giving them a great matchup, there is room to grow. Now, you look at the stats, you're like, how much can they grow? If they can grow from what they did last week, this is going to be spectacular. And so it's a lot. But I would love to see Justin Fields get a connection with somebody else. I would love to see that defense buckle down to try to be a mid to top tier defense that they were last year. Now, understanding the coaching is not there. The coaches put the players in positions to be great, but they have the talent. They have the talent. From DB with Sauce Gardner to linebacker to defensive tackle, one of the best defensive tackles in the game in Quentin Williams. So I'm very intrigued with this game. I like this game. Dark horse. This might be the game that I got to watch just because 1 o'clock, I'm going to be antsy. I'm waiting for 4 o'clock. All these games is cool and all, but I'm waiting for 4 o'clock. Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. We're going to break down this NFC East rivalry. I guess we're not going to call it a rivalry in 2025. This is the bottom of the division. We can't do that. We can't do that. Until you guys earn the respect and say, hey, we're here to play. We can't call teams going against the New York Giants a rivalry. Sorry. That was a disgusting showing of football last week. But going into this breakdown, we're going to get to break down Malik Nabers. What did you guys think of Malik Nabers? The body language shows one thing, but when you watch the kid play, I dare say he still has a love for the game. His quarterback throws a pick. This guy looks like he's going to take it to the house. Nabers catches him. That ball's in the air. Nabers has the chance for it. Nabers is going up for it. I mean, there's plenty to like about Malik Nabers. But there's also a little to say, hey, man, come on. You are a leader. I get it. It's your first year in the league, but you are a leader on this team. But it's tough when your quarterback is giving you games like this. It's tough when it just feels like the defense is eyeing you down and there's nobody else that they care to not get the ball. I mean, Malik Nabers is going to see this coverage plenty this season. He's going to have to get used to it. He's going to have to figure out a way to beat it. That's how you become a top wide receiver in your position. That's how you become a top quarterback, a top tight end, a top offensive lineman. You are going to get tried. And when you get tried, you need to be able to answer. Every time. That's the best. That's clearly what it is. So, Mr. Nabers, it is what it is, man. You're going to get the coverages. Figure out how to beat him. You have a chance, though, to get into a fight this week. What do we got? Deron Bland? Tavon Diggs? I'll accept that. I'm not going to accept the two teams as a rivalry, but I'll accept these matchups. We got Tavon Diggs going against Malik Nabers on one side. We got Deron Bland going against Malik Nabers when he goes to the other side. Respectfully. Next, we're going to have Dak and his offense going against a pass rush that we expect to see more out of. We expect to see more, even though Brian Burns had 2 sacks last week, even though Tibbs and Carter got half a sack each. we still expect to see more. We still expect to see a little pass rush. Now, how's Dak going to take that pass rush? Listen, did Dak antagonize Jalen Carter last week? Yes. This is football. Jalen should have never fell for it. Now, did Dak play well last week? He played decent. I can say that. Can he do what he did last week and win this week? I believe so. Does he want to? If this team wants to be a playoff team, they have to show offensively they can score 30, 35, 40 on any moment's notice. Now, there are teams that we trust in the NFL to do that. Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, would add in the Packers after what we saw them do on Thursday. But for the Dallas Cowboys to actually be in the hunt, competitive, they're going to need to be able to be that type of offense that scores when they need to score and scores when they don't need to score. Now, Javonte Williams looked good at running back. CD looks like CD until the end with those drops, but we can get a little bit more George Pickens. We can get a little bit more from Jake Ferguson. Now, this Giants defense is going to give you a chance. If Dak can get the ball out, they will give you a chance. But now we need to start seeing the Cowboys get into flow. Now, we're not going to break down this game too much. I mean, as an Eagles fan, this is as bad as it gets of a breakdown. But to end this, I'm going to ask the question, how many more points can the Giants score this week than last week? What, they scored 6 points last week? If the Giants come out and score 6, 9, 12 points, we need to see Jackson Dart. Maybe not Jackson Dart. We need to see Jameis. We need to see somebody who can actually hold a competent offense. Last week, unacceptable. This week, disgraceful if we see something like that. I don't expect to see something like that. I expect Tyron Tracy to get going. I expect the Giants to kind of get Malik into the game, other wide receivers into the game. But you can't have many more weeks like you did last week if you're New York. If you're Russ. If you're, Kafka, Dabo, you can't have weeks like that. Preseason happened. We saw a little bit of juice. Find that juice and kind of give us a showing. Give us a competitive battle. That's all I want to see. Can it be at least competitive? That's the breakdown from this toilet bowl ass game. But on to the next game, we're going to break down Rams-Titans. How do you break down this game? I mean, the Rams won, scoring 14 points, going against a pretty decent defense. They went against C.J. Stroud, so they get the credit. Titans lost, going against a good defense. Cam Ward's first game. He was able to drive down the field, get some field goals, not able to complete a drive. There's room to grow for both of these teams, is where I'm getting to. The talent is on the Rams. The better defense, I mean, to watch what Tennessee did last week to Bo Nix, that was rough. They picked him. They sacked him. Bo didn't have the greatest game last week. He struggled. And that Titan defense, if you don't know, they don't like to give up yards. They give up points simply because their offense struggled last year, but they don't give up yards. That's a stingy defense last year. So coming into this game, I want to see how they play against the Stafford-Nakua matchup. I want to see if Stafford can actually go to somebody else besides Nakua. I've asked this question. Why does Matthew Stafford have one receiver he locks onto and he sometimes hits the other receivers? We known it when it was Coop when they won the Super Bowl. Triple Crown winner. Solid. The second he gets Nakua, Puka Nakua makes Cooper Kupp look like chopped liver? They were on the same team and you could barely notice Cooper Kupp was playing. Well, now you guys got Devontae Adams. You can't do that to him. He's going to win his matchups. Get him the ball. So with a game like this coming up, I expect Tennessee not to wash out Nakua, because Nakua looks like in this offense, he can do whatever he pleases. But I expect Matthew Stafford to kind of spread the ball out a little bit. You're considered one of the best quarterbacks in this game. It's not because Sean McVay dials up a play to get the ball to Nakua and you can make that throw. No, it's because you can actually search the field and get the ball where you need to get it. You have the talent now. Can I get a couple passes to Higbee? I'm not a big fantasy guy. I just didn't like to see that he's forcing the ball to Nakua. Nakua's going to make the catches great, but you got other guys. Get this offense into a potency. Now, I like you guys running the ball with Kyron Williams. Love it. But there can be more. There is a higher level of offense. Now, Tennessee, we need to see a little bit more building on offense. It's tough with the rookie quarterback. It's tough. But watching what J.J. McCarthy did should give confidence. Watching how Cam Ward played in that game, no turnovers. He was not throwing interceptions. Now, we need touchdowns. And I was happy to see how the vets kind of, I wouldn't say molded, but kind of, hey, man, we got you. I liked seeing Calvin Ridley talk over with Cam Ward. I liked it because he wasn't hitting him early, but Cam found a way to get him the ball. And it kind of just led right into the Minnesota game where JJ's not able to find JJ Jettas early, but once he's able to find him, it helps him get into a groove. Now with the Titans, Cam is not there to where he can just start his own groove in the game and just know. So that first 15, that first 10 offensive plays that you guys have designed, get them running and clicking. Get them running and clicking to give him a little bit of, all right, I know what to expect. I know what we want to do. Forget what the defense is doing. I know what we want to do, so I'm comfortable with that. Once a quarterback gets comfortable with understanding what he wants to do, then he can start focusing on what the defense is trying to make them do. And then we start getting into the mental fortitudes of quarterbacks, and he can start playing the game on a mental scale. Talent-wise, the kid looks small. I ain't gonna lie. He looked almost Kyler small a little bit sometimes. But they said he's like 6'3", but I was just confused with that Broncos game. Broncos defense played well. Titans defense played well. This could be a good game. This could be a good game, depending on how and what Rams team actually shows up. But I am going to give this game over to the Rams. I think the Rams have the best chance on winning. They have the best chance on winning because they have the most talent. Now, they may have the most talent. Tennessee has game wreckers, though. Jeffrey Simmons is a game wrecker. So the Rams need to be focused because they're playing with a little fire here with that defense. Don't get caught in the fire to where you give these guys a chance in the fourth quarter and you guys are all of a sudden looking like the Chicago Bears from last week. This Ram team should win, and they should just start off the game flowing. But as I said, you let the disruptor, if they don't pay attention to Jeffrey Simmons, they're going to let Jeffrey Simmons keep his team in the game. That's what happened last week. So take notes, get to work. I'll see you guys on Sunday, 1 p.m. sharp. Next, we got to break down New England versus Miami Dolphins. We get to break down Drake May versus Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if I'm going to have to really say his name correctly because we don't know how long he's going to be playing if he keeps showing up like this. But Tua Tagovailoa. Tua. You ran an offense, maybe not last year, but the year before that was so fluid that it looked that only you can run it. Coming into this season, you got benched week 1. The game was so bad, you got benched week 1. Not only did you get benched, but the quarterback on the other side was Daniel Jones. Rough start. Going to the Patriots, Drake May. Drake May, Drake May, Drake May. Drake, year 2, and I understand a lot of people are looking for you to develop into these guys like Jaden Daniels, like a Bo Nix, like J.J. McCarthy had his first game, but tough for you because the talent's not there yet. But Drake, you played a little solid. I mean, the Patriots showed a lot of trust in you. You threw the ball, 46 times. Threw 1 interception on 46 throws. Second year pro, week 1. I may be making excuses for you, but you get a pass over here. You get a pass. You're not going to get a lot of these passes, though. In games like this, when you're throwing the ball 46 times, it's clear to say the offense was reliant on you. You guys didn't win the game, so most of the blame will then go to who the offense was relied on. It's just part of the game. Just part of the game. I think you handled it great, but I think now it's not just about handling it. It's about getting the troops together for week 2. This Dolphin team is more talented than you guys, but you guys showed more heart week 1. Can you guys bring that heart out for week 2? Can you guys come out and play offensively in that manner where you were flowing, man? You were flowing. I love seeing these numbers. Kayshon Boutte, 8 targets. Hunter Henry, 4 catches on 8 targets. Stephon Diggs, 7 targets. Pop Douglas. Pop, what the hell was that? Pop Douglas had 7 targets, 2 catches, -2 yards, and a touchdown. I saw the touchdown. I didn't see these negative yards. What? It was like a 5-yard touchdown pass. Back to the breakdown of the game. What could they do better in the future to give themselves more of a chance? I'm going to go straight to the running game. Travion Henderson, 5 carries. Ramondre Stevenson, 7 carries. It's not enough. It's not enough to impose your will with the running game. Every team that actually has a chance to win the Super Bowl has a running game. It's just a necessity in the NFL. Everybody loves to talk about the top 5 quarterbacks and loves to talk about all the weapons, but one of the biggest weapons of any offense is their rushing attack. Patriots didn't have a rushing attack, while Las Vegas did last week. I dare say that may have been the difference to the game. Now, coming in this week, you guys have a chance to have a better rushing attack. Going against a team morale-wise is not in it. But running the ball means imposing your force. And I believe that from what I saw from the Patriots last week, it has to be a change in mindset. 46 passes from Drake is okay if you guys are losing and you guys are down bad. But you guys had a chance to impose your will with the rushing attack where, need I say, you guys wanted to show out Drake May. Now, coming into this game, we got battles. You have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle going against Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. We have Minkah Fitzpatrick and his new look defense going against Drake May and this offense. With weapons, might I add. Diggs, Pop, Hunter Henry, Kayshon Boutte for 100. I'm liking it. Going into week 2, can they excel up? By excel up, I mean, can the chemistry get a little bit cleaner? Can the routes and the rhythm of the offense get a little bit cleaner? You have to understand the levels and tiers of an offense. And during the season, every team starts off at a level that they don't want to finish at. The way you don't finish at that same level is you get better week to week. You get better with the communication. You get better with the routes. Everybody gets better individually, 1%. And by midway through the season, the offense looks unrecognizable. I like seeing what I saw from Josh McDaniels. I think we could see better. Going to the Dolphins, Do you guys want to be traded? It looked like it. It looked like it. Everybody on the Dolphins looked like they wanted to be traded. The Colts last year had a chance to make the playoffs. The Dolphins, because of the injuries, kind of did not have the same outlook to last season. But coming into this season, we're expecting a healthy Tua. We're expecting a healthy offense, a healthy Devon Achane. Defensively, we don't know what to expect from the defense, but you had your linebackers out here tackling all day. I mean, what Miami team shows up this week? Now, I say if the same Miami team shows up last week, hey, GM, get whatever you can for everybody. Trade Tua, trade H. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, so I'm going to get to the Patriots rather quick. Seeing that this might be another TB, if you know what I mean. Well, who's going to have the better running game between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins? How will the offense of the Dolphins move? How will the offense of the Patriots move? Did the Miami Dolphins lose morale going into last week? Can Mike McDaniels galvanize the troops? Find out on next episode on the NFL. But to really grasp what I want to grasp about saying about the Dolphins, how's the morale of the team for real? I mean, I don't know anybody who looked at the game and said last week the Colts are going to win for sure. Talently-wise, the Miami Dolphins are up there. And when moving on all accords offensively, we've known them to be one of the top offenses. Can they regain that? Have they lost trust in each other? We know going into the season, Tyreek had already asked for a trade. We know Tua said he had to apologize. Hey, man, when that football on the field, they ain't no I'm still mad at you no more. Them boys is trying to beat you boys. How y'all gonna show up? I got the Patriots winning this one. I don't like what I saw from the Dolphins last week. I want to see Drake May galvanize his troops and start building something on his side. Now, I do believe the Dolphins to be more talented, and I believe if Mike McDaniels is able to galvanize his guys, maybe they're going to have a chance. But I know Vrabel is going to galvanize his guys. Look how they played week one. I know Vrabel is going to rally his troops to play good defense, to play better offense, and I know McDaniels is not calling just any rinky-dink ass offense. So I know the Patriots are going to come to play. Will the Dolphins? They can. They have the ability to. Will they? Find out on next week's episode of Blirt TV. Up next. We're going to break down another matchup from the 1 o'clock games. I didn't take notes on this one, but let's see what we got. Oh, damn. Should I talk about this game? Should I talk about the 49ers versus the Saints? That hurt. Just to say that hurt. 49ers versus the Saints. 49ers last week were able to win the game. They got hit with a little bit of the injury bug. Kittle went out. Mr. Jennings went out. And Jeff Tongas, yes, the Jeff Tongas, made a play. The play last week, maybe. But going into this game, it was tough to say this is going to be a matchup. Going into this week, we had to get the news Brock Purdy will be out. Now, Brock, solid job coming back into the game. Didn't even know you were hurt. Solid job giving Jeff Tongas a chance and winning that game. But now that there's an injury and Mac Jones is coming in, this kind of shakes up the 49ers world. You guys just paid Brock Purdy. And everybody's been asking the question, can somebody else just come in Kyle's offense and do the same thing? Can't anybody do it? Mac's a first rounder. Brock was the last pick in the very last round. Mac has played with great coaches before. Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. Mac is now going to get Kyle Shanahan. Now, understandably so, Kittle will also be out. Maybe Ayuk comes back in a week or two. But we get to see Mac Jones in this offense. And we get to see if this offense actually takes a dip. Now, it's going to take a dip. No, Kittle, this is going to take a dip, but you still have Christian McCaffrey. We still have to build off Ricky Pearsall's solid week 1. We still got to give Jeff Tongas a chance to find out if this was lucky or not. Jeff Tongas prepared for week 2. But now when we look over at their opponent, the Saints, I mean, the game is in New Orleans. Fans will show up. That defense does have solid players. Pete Werner, Cam Jordan, Mr. Granderson. I like what the Saints bring, what they have. Is it enough? I don't believe so. And it's not on the defensive side. I don't believe that it's enough. Because defensively, I believe they can bring themselves to mid-tier. They can bring themselves close to the upper echelon if they can fight as a unit. But that would also entail an offense that could move the ball. Now, the reason I don't see that happening is because I don't think their offense will be able to move the ball this year. Second round pick Tyler Schloh did not win the starting quarterback position, lost it over to Spencer Rattler. How you guys feel about that, let me know. But what I think is if you are supposed to be the guy, you have to win out the battle. You can't win out the battle even though they chose you and they're picking somebody else. Need I say this sounds a little Anthony Richardson? Yes. Spencer Rattler was on the team last year, but you guys got a new coach, and your new coach said, I want this guy. And I trust your new coach. He won us the Super Bowl last year. Shout out to Kellen Moore. But are we going to see Tyler Schloh this season? And if we do, is it going to be better than what we're seeing from Spencer Rattler? That's a toss-up. I don't know. From what I hear, I'm not watching a lot of New Orleans Saints football. It may come as a hater. I'm not a hater. I like to see good football. I like to watch good football. So I'll watch them during divisional games. Now, this game I'm probably going to skip. I might watch a couple highlights. I might see if it's on, see what's playing. You know, got the Sunday ticket. So we might put it on for a little bit. But as for 1 o'clock games, there are better 1 o'clock games to watch. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of better 1 o'clock games to watch. Now, the Saints win. Morale for Kellen Moore, I would be happy about that. Morale for that defense, I would be happy about that too. If the Saints win, 49ers lose, 49ers, hey. Let's get Brock Purdy back. 49ers win, I want to see what the tone is. Now, I got some people out in San Francisco. I got some 49er fans I could talk to, but I don't think Mac Jones is going to look better than Brock Purdy. But I'd like to see the test. I'd like to see the football gods test the San Francisco 49ers and say, remember that first round talent? What do you think about it now? We know Kyle can do it. If there's anybody in the league that can do it, it's probably Kyle and KOC. I'm going to give the win to the Saints just because it seems a little messy, but I don't want Brock Purdy to get benched for Mac Jones. What am I talking about here? Get out of here, bro. Next up on our list, we have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cleveland Browns. Now, Cleveland put forth a decent effort versus Cincinnati. Offensively led by Joe Flacco. Defensively, we know who they're led by, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Myles Garrett. I haven't come up with a name for him yet, but he'll get one. Now, Myles Garrett versus Lamar Jackson. To say that's not must-see TV, I mean, we're wilding. that is must-see TV. Miles is going to be coming. Miles can't wait for these games. When you meet football players who are great, like a Myles Garrett, players like a Lamar Jackson, who other people don't, dang it, we got to play Lamar this week. Miles is like, yeah, I got to show off my skill set. You know, get ready to blow by this tackle and make some plays. Well, must-see TV means must-see TV because that doesn't mean Miles is going to get to him. And that doesn't mean that Lamar is going to be able to escape. Now, they can. What we'll see, we'll have to wait and see. But Baltimore took a rough loss last week. Cleveland lost, but it wasn't as rough because from an outside point looking in, because I also want to say this is from an outside point, the Ravens should have won. I'd feel a little bit salty about that. And Cleveland should have lost, so I wouldn't feel as salty about that. But looking into this game, can the Baltimore Ravens, and I don't want to say put themselves in a position because we expect Baltimore to win this game. I don't even think I'm going to have to say that. But can Baltimore win convincingly? Convincingly doesn't mean blowout. Convincingly doesn't mean, hey, we're running ramshot on these guys just like they did last week. I mean convincingly more of a feeling. You see, what the Green Bay Packers did last week or this last Thursday was they gave us the feeling of, oh, everybody's going to have to watch out for these guys. And what Baltimore did for us last week, as in fans of football, was say, oh, we have to watch out for Buffalo. Buffalo put themselves on the map by beating Baltimore in a way we did not expect. The Packers beat Washington in a way we did not expect. There's no way the Baltimore Ravens beat the Browns in a way we don't expect. But there's a way where they can give us confidence that, okay, they're becoming that confident team again. Okay, they're starting to understand we can't play with our food here. A lot of the Ravens' wrongdoing is that they're playing with their own food. They having a lead by 15, 16 points. There was a stat that came out that John Harbaugh has the most double-digit comeback losses ever. Double-digit comeback loss. That means you guys are comfortable in a lead 14, 10, 11 points. And then you guys walk out the game with a loss. That's not a good stat. That lets you know there's something clear you have to finish here. And the way Jim Harbaugh came out with the Chargers and said, hey, Justin Herbert, finish the game off for me. You got Lamar Jackson. You have Lamar Jackson. I don't want to hear this 4th down and 3, we're going to trust our defense. That was the dumbest call of week 1 by every coach. We need to see a little bit more trust in the offense. Yes, we need to see the defense come out and play, but we need to see you guys, hey, Baltimore, we know there were times of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. We know there were times of Chris McAllister. We know the Haloti Ngata and Terrell Suggs. But now, it's Lamar Jackson. But now, it's Derrick King Henry. But now, we're going to trust our tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. We're going to trust that if you guys put us in one-on-one, we're going to go to Zay Flowers. We didn't see that week 1. We expect to see that week 2. Myles Garrett, Lyles Garrett, whoever, I expect a blowout. I expect a blowout. Divisional game, I expect Cleveland to show up. But in games like these where you guys have to make a statement, I don't care who's in front of you. Make the statement. I'm going to be watching this one. Be watching this one closely. Because Lamar knows who's coming for him. And he knows what he just did last week. And John Harbaugh knows. The defense, everybody feels it. So what are you guys going to do when you guys are pushed up against the wall? Can't wait to see it. I got Baltimore by blowout. 34-17, 40-10, whatever you want to call it, blowout. They don't blow them out. I'm talking shit. Now, last 1 o'clock game, I guess you call it a revenge game. I don't know what you call these games. DK Metcalf gets to see his old team. Seattle Seahawks will go to Pittsburgh to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. I talk about how teams feel after a loss. How does Seattle feel after Jeff Tongas? Well, that was Jeff Tongas. This week you got DK coming back to play his old mates. I expect to see some sign language. I expect to see some talking. I expect to see a little physicality from DK Metcalf just because it's his old team. Just simply because that. He doesn't have any hatred for them or anything, but it's his old team. He's going to wake up a little bit more juiced up. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit more juiced up when you're going against your old homies. But now looking into it, I want to see, can this offense for the Seattle Seahawks raise their level from last week? Can the offense of Pittsburgh maintain this level? Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes last week. There is nothing more you want to see than that. If he can continue doing that and you guys can continue to trust Mr. Boswell, hey, I ain't talking about the defense because defense give up 30 points, but I expect them to figure it out. That's what you guys are. You guys hang your hat on defense. Hang your hat on defense. But if Aaron Rodgers can keep up a little consistency, 4 TDs. I asked the question, they don't be developing guys on in Pittsburgh. I asked the question, who's going to be the wide receiver outside of DK and the tight ends. I asked the question, but week 1, zip it up, shut your mouth. I got told to shut up week 1. Now, am I going to shut up the whole season? I don't expect to. But respectfully, if I ask questions, you guys give me the answers. Hey, this is Blirt TV. We're not afraid to be wrong here. We're going to call out what we see, and if we see otherwise, we're going to call out and say, hey, we were wrong. It is what it is. But when it comes to Seattle in this offense, Zach Charbonnet showed it's a running back by committee. It's Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. He showed that. Sam Darnold showed he's learning the offense. I'm putting it the nicest way possible that he's learning the offense. Because last week we found out that Sam Darnold, in the offseason, I guess was only throwing to Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't know. Stuff like this makes me a little bit confused, a little bit angry. But you got Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a Triple Crown winner. Over there on the other side, you got Cooper Kupp. So I want to see a little bit more from Sam Darnold when it comes to the passing game. I find it decent as to what the Seahawks did running game, but I expect to see more. Does that make sense? I expect to see more, even though Charbonnet had 12 carries, 47 yards. I know Ken Walker was touching the ball as well. Maybe not at the same potency rushing-wise, but the offense was balanced enough to where Sam Darnold could have felt a little bit more comfortable. Now, the comfortability of Sam Darnold is all on Sam Darnold. He's comfortable throwing to JSN. He needs to be a little bit more comfortable throwing to other guys. Now, Sam Darnold went against a pass rush last week versus the 49ers that was rebuilt. A rebuilt pass rush, a rebuilt defense, a healthy defense. A healthy Nick Bosa is dangerous. Well, this week he gets Alex Hightower or Highsmith, and then he gets TJ. There's only one TJ in the NFL. Yeah, there's TJ Slayton. Yeah, there's a couple other TJs. But when I say he gets TJ, there's only one TJ I'm talking about. You got Watt, bro. He's coming. He gets to the quarterback with relentless force. There's nobody stopping him. You fumbled last week for the game, Sam Darnold. TJ watching that. He probably saying to himself he needs to get 2. This is all needs to be in your head every time you say hut. It's all needs to be in the memory. When we look at quarterbacks and how they play football in the NFL, you need to be aware of the guy who's crazy enough to dream about you and bringing you to the ground. TJ's that guy. Highsmith's that guy. That defense is, how many times are we going to get to the quarterback? You see that last play. That's how they won the game. If we win the game, we can win the game first play looking like that. That's what Tomlin's telling them. He's not developing them, but he's setting them up for success for this week. I'm going to keep saying it. He's not developing them, but he's setting them up for success this week. Who's going to show up for Seattle? Defensively, I liked how Seattle played defense last week. Yes, they were helped with a little bit of the injury bug, but they gave up a touchdown on the first drive and didn't give up points till the fourth quarter. There are some highs to Seattle. Will they be able to get to Aaron Rodgers? Will they be able to stop this running game? I think something that might have been taken away from Pittsburgh was understanding Najee was a different type of running back. Najee imposed his will on the defense that allowed Jaylen Warren, I believe it's Jaylen Warren, to then come in and be the scat back that he was. This year now, with Aaron Rodgers changing the offense, it's a little bit more Jaylen Warren is the lead guy, with Kenneth Gainwell coming back and being the scat back that Warren was the year before. I don't mind it, but I feel like Pittsburgh needs a little bit more of a bruiser, if that makes sense. Not asking for any trades, not asking for any signings, but it's just a feel to me that the style of offense that they want to run would be better run with a bruiser. Needless to say, they won the game last week. They showed heart. They showed potential. They showed we can be a team to be messing with. Rodgers was amped when they hit the field goal. Rodgers looked like he was talking a little shit to the Jets. Rodgers talking shit might be a little bit dangerous, if you know what I mean. But it's a long season. You could win one week, lose another week, and all of a sudden you're asking, is it over? It's week 2. It's just getting started for us. But that's Pittsburgh and Seattle. And when it comes to the win at home, I'm going to give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thinking about it, I'm going to give it to Pittsburgh. If Sam Darnold can get Cooper Kupp 100 yards and get JSN 150, it's going to be a lot tougher. A lot tougher. That would mean that Sam Darnold's getting the ball out. He knows where he's going with it. Does he? I don't think so. It's a toss-up with this game. I like games like these. It's a little toss-up. I expect TJ to be TJ and to imprint his Watt signature on the game, but I like this one. I'm going to rock with Pittsburgh. I'm going to rock with Pittsburgh defensively. But I am expecting Sam Darnold to actually elevate this offense sometime this season. Now, I believe that's it for the 1 o'clock games. And now we get to move to the 4 o'clock games. We get the game of the week. We got a couple little side games where I think the NFL knew what they were doing. They gave us Carolina versus Arizona. Now, tickets as low as $29. That's what it's saying right here. Tickets as low as $29. That's how bad this game is going to be. That's how bad they're expecting it to be. Broncos Colts. I mean, I guess going into the season, it wasn't supposed to be a good game, but I guess looking at it now, it might be a little bit decent. Those are your 405 games. 425. Super Bowl rematch. We all watching that one. We know that. We know we all watching that. We might skip over to see if Daniel Jones can have another good game versus the Broncos. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. We can expect Kyler to have a couple old school Kyler plays. You know the Mahomes shoehorn when he runs around in that little half circle and makes a throw. Kyler, I expect to see a little highlight like that. But in this Super Bowl rematch, in this Super Bowl rematch, I don't know what to look out for. There's going to be a little injury on the Kansas City side. Somebody who didn't play last week in Philly is going to finally play his first game of the season. We didn't get the ball to A.J. Brown enough because of zone, but Kansas City likes to play man. Jalen was lucky last week. He can't do what he did last week. This week he had 3 throwaways and a dropped pass. Like, everybody expects Jalen Hurts to be this. Stop it. Stop all of it. This is a Super Bowl rematch. This is the biggest game so far this season. Yeah, we got a little bit of Josh and Lamar. Yeah, we got to see Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Love. This right here are the 2 biggest names in the NFL at the quarterback position. We got the best quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, and we got the most polarizing quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Now, Super Bowl record says that they're 1-1. Super Bowl record says that Jalen Hurts has outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice. Super Bowl record says Jalen Hurts is on a streak of 1 win versus Patrick. I don't think they care. Patrick is coming not only off a Super Bowl loss, he's coming off of a loss to start the season. Pat's in a 0-2 hole in his last 2 games. Well, they said when you corner a beast, that's when you get to find out who they really are. Patrick Mahomes gets to show us this week. Now, do I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win this game? Hell no. Matter of fact, yeah. Now we could talk the game. Now we could talk the game. Y'all know what time it is. So now we're going to break down the Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs lost last week. Should be a little fired up for that. Eagles won. We don't care. We beat Dallas. We're on to the next. Now, this game, I am hoping for a Super Bowl rematch later on in February. I'm not expecting one, though. Chiefs. I watched the Chiefs play last week, and what did I think? I thought their running game was horrible. Again, I thought for a passing game to have Patrick Mahomes and to use Travis like a decoy, they did use Travis like a decoy. Travis was able to get a touchdown later on in the game, but it wasn't the Mahomes magic that I was expecting. If that makes any sense. He's still Mahomes. He still had his little play. You know what I mean? Looks like he's about to rush. Flips the ball over somebody's head, but there was a certain level of dominance Patrick Mahomes could impose that he's not imposing yet. Now, I understand Rashid Rice is serving his suspension. Xavier Worthy got injured in the first drive. I'm hearing he's going to play with the brace, and he's going to try to play with the brace so that he doesn't need to have surgery. But there's no excuse when you're the top quarterback in the NFL. It's as simple as that. If they're covering Travis, move Travis to a corner that you know you can get him the ball if he makes the right move. You're Patrick Mahomes. You can put the ball wherever you want. That's how the game is played. Now, you have been outplayed your last 2 games by Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts. You need to step up a little bit now. Your next game is against Jalen Hurts again, who does not want to slow down. And I feel that Patrick Mahomes has that same tick. Maybe you've been getting a little comfortable. Maybe this offense has been getting a little comfortable. Maybe the defense has been getting a little comfortable. We saw Chris Jones maybe try to spark something on the defense. Like, hey, we were good ones before, right? We were one of the best defenses in the league. Spags is still up there, right? Come on. And I felt that from Chris Jones because it was like that. Honestly, you guys ran the division, and now Justin Herbert's out here running ramshot on you guys in the 4th. Justin Herbert's in my MVP conversation thanks to the Chiefs' defense. So I liked what I saw. Now, what we're going to see on Sunday with the Chiefs. The Spags tried to play a little bit more conservative after seeing what happened in the Super Bowl. The Spags tried to play a little bit more conservative, seeing that the Eagles did not run Saquon week 1 as much. Spags has talent on defense. He knows how to move him. Now, does he move him to the right areas for everybody to play well, to give their team a chance? Who knows? Is Patrick prepared to play this offense again? Or play this defense, I'm sorry. Is Patrick Mahomes ready to play this defense again? I don't think so. I don't think so. Jalen's coming back for his first game. These guys, the Eagles play it in a way where they're not trying to get overhyped for any game. But for the one game this season, I think that they're going to be hyped for will be this rematch to prove, hey, we lost some pieces, but we're still in contention. I think this week, I believe what we saw this week was the Green Bay Packers say, we are one of the best teams in the NFL. Everybody else who now gets to make that statement will now be behind us. But there's only one team that can say to them, yes, but we are them boys. Now, does Philly do it this week? I don't know. I want to see how the offense moves. I'm not going to be kind if the offense isn't flowing. If the offense can flow and score points, I mean, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going to give you the truth. I don't need to lie about my team. If they play bad, I'm going to tell you. If they play good, I'm going to tell you. But breaking down how the Chiefs are going to play, I don't expect the Chiefs to be a better team than they were in the Super Bowl. I just don't. I expect the Eagles to win in Kansas City. I just do. Running game, passing game, I don't expect them to stop us. Now, can they? Of course they can. It's Patrick Mahomes. Every game he has a shot until the game starts. I think the way the Kansas City Chiefs need to look at this game and kind of the rest of their season until they get their offense fully flowing is we got to move into the Tom Brady mode of Patrick Mahomes. I get it. Pat has all this talent that he can use, but to not have the skill set around you to utilize your talent, you're playing a tough game here. And Philly's going to try to force you to make moves because that's what we do here. So Pat needs to start playing the Tom Brady. When I say the Tom Brady mode is whatever the defense gives me is what I'm going to take. If it's only this 3-yard slant, I'm going to take this 3-yard slant until they come cover the 3-yard slant with that safety. If it's this drag route, I'm going to keep doing this drag route until they move somebody from the flat where I can go hit the check down instead. There needs to be a mental game that Patrick Mahomes needs to play that is the level that you need to be at to even compete with a Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes has been okay letting his talent do a lot of the talking, but coming into this season, coming into the ass whooping he took in the Super Bowl, I hope Patrick Mahomes understands mentally he now has the challenge to be mentally better than everybody else. He's already done the physical part. He already has all the physical talent that you would want in a quarterback. Now, mentally, does he have the mental fortitude to lead this team? Can Pat actually galvanize his troops offensively? Can he give his defense inspiration? This defense last year made a stop versus the Eagles and were excited. They came on the bench and they were excited. That's how we needed that. They sat down and Patrick Mahomes then throws a pick to Zach Bond. If you watch the mic up, you see Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and another one, I believe Imenahu. Look at what? Imenahu's like shocked. I thought he fell to the floor. Like they were shocked. They were shocked. Y'all remember the tape of Chris Jones falling to the floor, but I'm even talking about when Patrick Mahomes threw a pick because it was like, you're Pat. That's not it. Well, week 1, we saw a little bit more of that. Well, it wasn't Patrick Mahomes playing bad. It was more so this team didn't have a chance to win the game early. They had to fight and fight and fight. Now, last year, you guys got off the hook with that. This year, everybody's salivating at the chance to put a punishment on the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys need to be prepared. Now, Philly, we're always ready. Always ready, gonna be ready. Jalen's gonna touch that grass. Let's fucking go turn this shit up. We know what to expect. Pregame. During the game, what are the Chiefs going to give us? Because we know Jalen's going to take what the Chiefs give us. If you guys want to stop Saquon, Jalen's going to have to throw. If you guys think that Saquon is a little off by week 1, well, then everybody gets to find out how Saquon would have did if you guys didn't play such a stacked box in the Super Bowl. I can't wait to see it. I have the Eagles winning by 10 to 14 points. Don't really care as long as they win. But I want to see this new defense, new face with Jalen Carter, hopefully. He doesn't get himself kicked out of the game again. But this defense with Jalen Carter and how we fare. I said last week Adoree Jackson took a lot of flack because, well, Jalen got kicked out and we didn't have a pass rush. Well, Adoree's going to get his chance this week. We're going to find out early. Because teams don't like to test Quinyon and Coop. And Pat learned his lesson last year the hard way. So Adoree's going to get his chance. We may see other cornerbacks get their chance. The positions that I'm looking out for the Eagles this week, though, are our 2 rookies. Makuba, who started at safety, as well as Jahad Campbell. Now, I thought they both played great last week for rookies. We saw Dak try to attack Jahad. Didn't work. We saw Makuba on the field running around. Now I want to see a little bit more of hitting. Makuba, you are filling in for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The reason why we got you is because we probably saw a little bit of C.J. in you. I need to see something. I need to see a hit. I need to see something. I need to see something. So, I mean, this Super Bowl rematch is the game to watch. I'm not going to review these other games. Well, actually, we're going to review the Broncos and Colts. But Kyler better whoop on Carolina. I don't have time to be doing all that. But looking into this game, I have the Eagles winning. So we're going to move on to the next game. So the Colts and the Broncos. Leading passer going into the game is Daniel Jones. The running back with the most touchdowns in the game, or the back, or the player with the most touchdowns in the game. Also Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones gets to lead his team at home versus the Denver Broncos. Who the hell would have thought Daniel Jones would have been 1-0? Who the hell would have thought Daniel Jones would have had 272 yards with 0 picks? Who thought Daniel Jones was going to be a starter in the NFL after last season getting released? Not me. My hand down on that one. My hand is down. I thought we were going to see backup quarterback play for the rest of his career. The man went out to Indianapolis and earned himself a starting job. 1 game won. You saw his teammates. Everybody was excited like, hey, man, great. Hey, Buddy. We actually got a shot with Buddy. We had a shot last year. We might have a shot with Buddy this year. Now, Denver is a different team. Simply putting, their defense speaks for themselves. You're going to get tested this week, Daniel Jones. A real test. One of the best tests that you are going to have. Now, you answer correctly. You pass this test. We can't really talk about you in that manner that we were talking about you preseason. In that manner we were talking about you last season. If you start off 2-0, Houston's going to have a problem. I might be happy for this. I might be happy to see Houston have a problem. I might be happy to see Trevor Lawrence be like, hey, what's going on here? I might be a little happy about that. Cam's going to have to bring his game up. Everybody's going to have to bring their game up because Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts are 2-0. Now, do I see that happening? No. No. Who are you going to throw it to? Pat Surtain's over there. The kid Riley Moss is doing his thing. This defensive line sends pressure. They didn't play Dre Greenlaw last week, and they looked tremendous. Let me tell y'all, I got Denver winning, but I want to give Daniel Jones his respect. You earned the starting job. People question your coach on it, and he said, this guy gives us the best chance to win. You came out and proved that. So what do we need to see out of you on Sunday? We need to see you give your team a chance to win the game. That's all we want to see out of Daniel Jones. That's it. We don't need to see you make flash plays. We don't need to see you trying to scramble and getting sacked, fake sliding. We don't need to see none of that. Give your team a chance to win the game. It'll be a mental accomplishment to watch Daniel Jones go 2-0 to start the season. To see what he went through mentally last year and to come out and start 2-0, he's already comeback player of the year starting off the year. Can he do it? Sorry, Daniel. I'm on the other side, but much respect is due. Now to Bo Nix. Hey, Bo, get the ball out, man. Get the ball out. Get it out to somebody. I got it. You were throwing the ball to Franklin. You were throwing the ball to Sutton. That's cool. You can pass the ball a little bit better than what you did last week. We don't need the turnovers. We can get a lot better from Bo Nix. Now, people like to talk sophomore slumps. In the new NFL, there ain't no sophomore slumping, bro. You came out and led a team to the playoffs last year. Nobody's expecting you to slump right now. It's not the time for it. Now, running game, R.J. Harvey did his thing. J.K. Dobbins did his thing. You guys have a little engine. Get that oil moving and get that car moving. Get that shit moving. It's on Bo Nix to me. Bo Nix is the guy who's going to make this engine, make this car complete, and get this machine moving. That is the Denver Broncos. Now, defensively of the Colts got some guys. They got some names. Bo got to put up points. It don't matter what names they got. It didn't matter in the playoffs last year. You need to be able to put up the points. Now, the Colts weren't a playoff team, and you guys went to the playoffs, so I need to be able to see Bo Nix show me at least that he's taking steps. Not backwards, but forwards. Bo Nix needs to show us that there is a step taking forward. Week 1, we given a lot of people a pass. Joe Burrow threw for 113 yards. So how bad did Bo Nix actually play? He wasn't that bad. But we can still expect for Bo Nix to be better than what he was. We know we're going to get better from Joe. Bo Nix needs to take a step. Now, does it have to do with play calling? I don't believe so. They won the game. They were able to run the ball. I think both runners had about 50 yards each. RJ broke a big one. But it had to do with more so the decision-making of Bo Nix when he said hut and it was a pass play. The decision-making felt slower than last year. I can give that to week 1. It felt a little off. We can blame that on week 1, but it ain't week 1 anymore. And you have a matchup versus a team whose morale is high. They're fighting for each other. They're playing for each other. Now, to say that you guys are doing the same thing, I know the defense is going to come out and play. Offensively, you have to bring these guys together. Quarterback will always be the glue. Always be the glue. And if you can come out and have a good showing, this defense is expecting to have a good showing. You guys should come out the winners. I'm going with the Denver Broncos as the winners. Denver Broncos defense is highly potent. Denver Broncos offense is led by Sean Payton, who drafted Bo Nix and who came out and balled last year. Expectations and what's actually going to happen in reality are always different, though. If I had to guess a quarterback to get the sophomore slump, it would be Bo Nix. Simply put, Sean Payton's offense helped propel the kid. Sean Payton's offense kind of disguised a couple of his faults and his weaknesses. Well, if Sean wants to give the kid more responsibility, he's going to have to trust him. On to the next. Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth calling the game. And they are going to call the Minnesota Vikings versus the Atlanta Falcons. Why this game is the Sunday night game, I don't know. Maybe because Minnesota has a beautiful stadium they want to show off at night. But we could have had a Super Bowl rematch at night. We probably should have had that. But going into this game, we're going to say Michael Penix is coming in almost scratching 300 yards last week. Minnesota's coming in only scoring in the fourth quarter for real last week. These quarterbacks are in the same draft class. They were picked about 3-4 picks apart. It's not about who's better right now. It's more about who's controlling their team. Now, who had a better week one? JJ had a great week one for a guy who scored 0 points in the first 3 quarters. He had a great week one. It's crazy how that works, right? JJ McCarthy didn't score any points for 3 quarters. Wakes up Monday morning or Tuesday morning, happiest man alive. Like, we won. Michael Penix throws for damn near 300 yards, loses the game, and is like, we got some things to fix. We got to clean it up. Stats don't mean anything in football. It only matters that you win the game. And looking at this game, I like Minnesota. It's just clear cut to me that Minnesota has a fight in them with coaches who will bring out the best in their team. Minnesota's defense did not look like the defense that we saw last year. It didn't. It didn't look like that defense at all. And then in the fourth quarter, they needed stops. Javon Hargrave's getting sacks. All these new guys is making plays. And it's like, fuck is going on here? What is going on here? Like what is this? What is this? Hey, when you guys got the stops, offense started answering, you guys win the game. Defense woke up happy as hell too. And we gave up a lot of yards yesterday, but to win games like that, if we need to buckle down and we know we got to buckle down, we can do it. I could trust Hargraves. I could trust the DBs. I could trust Metellus. I could trust Van Ginkel. I mean, quarterback's job mentally is to bring the team together. J.J. McCarthy definitely did that week one. Now, Michael Penix, solid week one showing. Need to get the wins. Need to be able to get the wins. One thing I loved about Michael Penix was he wasn't afraid to throw it to the short down. He wasn't the short down. The one thing I liked about Michael Penix was he was able to throw it to the check down. And when you have a check down like Bijan, it's beautiful. It works hand in hand with what you're trying to do offensively. Now, this week, Michael Penix is going to see some blitzes. Exotic. Of the exotic kind. Michael Penix will get a corner blitz we ain't seeing. We don't know when it's coming, but I'm expecting a corner blitz. I'm expecting a linebacker fake blitz. 2 linemen to stunt for the cornerback to come through that. I called it. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm calling it. Brian Flores runs some exotic shit. I don't know what to call his defenses. Love it, though. So when it comes to this Sunday night game, I'm going to give my edge over to the Minnesota Vikings. I just think they have more in their glass, more as a team. They went to the playoffs last year, lost the quarterback, regained the quarterback they were supposed to have. And yeah, those first 3 quarters, maybe they thought this might be a long season, but after that fourth quarter, everybody said, hey, we get behind the kid. We got a shot. We got a shot. And that's all you want pregame is for your guys to know, hey, we have a chance. One of the things I loved about seeing about J.J. McCarthy was He went up to Jettas and said, hey, man, don't forget about me. I'm still here. I'm still here. I got you. To see yourself throw a pick six and to still be in that position. To see yourself losing the game while Caleb, who's the number one draft pick in that class, is looking good. And to still have the faith and say, hey, I got you. Don't worry about me. I got you. All right? Don't give up on me. I think that was the quote he used. Don't give up on me. First game of the season. He felt it. He felt he was playing bad. JJ McCarthy, I wish you the best. This game's going to be a tough one. Defensively, Falcons went out and got some pieces that they're blending into their defense. Defensively, you get to see Mr. Bates for the first time, AJ Terrell for the first time. You're going to get to see your fair share of NFL matchups. Matchup I want to see is Jettas versus AJ. Matchups I want to see is how these safeties play against these quarterbacks. Metellus, Harrison, Bates. It's gonna be a decent game. I'm excited to watch it. Now, do I think a quarterback's gonna come out and show out? No. Will I be excited if one does? Hell yes. Who do I think it'll be? Michael Penix Jr. Simple fact, I think the kid's accurate as hell. Love the accuracy. Can you guys win the game? Let me bobblehead her a little bit. Y'all can. I don't think y'all can, but y'all can. It's football. 0-0 to start. We're going to give you guys a shot, all right? I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you guys a shot. Vikings, take care of business, please. You got money on the line here, bruh. God dang. But this is Blirt TV. We're going to break down the Monday night games after I do a little bit of editing, but don't worry about it. It's your boy Schmotty with Blirt TV. This is the first episode of Weekly Breakdowns. We're going to call this pod, let's call it the Art of Football Podcast, Episode 1. I like that. The Art of Football Podcast, Episode 1. Thanks for watching. Ow. Blirt TV. We gon' run it.